Good morning, Dr. Brent, also bus chiropractor, coming at you today with another edition of Ask the Chiropractor. Today is a question we get asked a lot about that pain that goes like from behind your ear all the way down to your shoulder blade, really tight, like in the top of the shoulder. A lot of times people will describe this pain as like a knuckle trying to dig its way out from the inside. It kind of just feels like a gnawing thing at you, and it doesn't seem to ever want to go away. So is that something that a chiropractor works on? Is that something the chiropractor sees patients for? And the answer is absolutely. You see it all the time. So let's discuss a little bit about how people get it, where it comes from, how do we prevent it, and then what do we do here at the clinic to help you? And then maybe who do we partner with to make this even better? So let's talk about first how we get it. You see, whenever you sit down, you get what they call forward head posture. When I sit down, my head goes forward and my shoulders will roll forward, like almost like coming together in front of my chest. And that's just a natural posture when you sit, when you work in front of you, when you're on the computer, when you're reading a book, when you're on your phone. And so the more of these things that we do, the less standing up and walking around we do, the more this adds up. And when that happens is the more I do that, the more I learn that behavior. And then what happens one day is I start to look at myself in the mirror, I notice my head sticking out forward and my shoulders are rolled forward, even when I'm standing. We've learned this behavior what chiropractors refer to as forward head posture. And the problem with forward head posture, the real problem with it, is that the human head almost weighs the same as a bowling ball. So when your head's over your shoulders and you got good posture, the weight's being distributed evenly amongst your bones and your neck the way it's designed to be. When you have your head sticking out forward and your shoulders roll forward, now we've altered the way the body is designed to carry that weight, especially some of the shoulders of the neck and the muscle and the shoulder, the shoulder and neck muscles. So as those rotate forward, we put more and more pressure and stress in those areas. And the longer it stays there, the more it stays like that. Until this becomes a learned behavior, new muscle memory, and a new pattern that we have to forget, eliminate, and then move forward a different direction. So that's usually what we see when you come in the office. When you come in the office, we'll take some x-rays of you and we'll look at your neck posture when we x-ray you. When we x-ray you, we try to tell you how to stand or what to do. We try to get as natural posture as we can. But a lot of times we can tell this just by looking at you. So when your shoulders are rolled forward and your head's out forward, it's just constantly irritating, putting extra stress on those muscles. And that doesn't always cause this pain. Now, sometimes over time it'll cause this pain, but a lot of times what happens is somebody will tell me all I did was reach for a cup out of the cabinet. All I did was put my hand over my head and now I have this pain. See, what happens is when the muscle's in the wrong place and it's always being rubbed and irritated, and now it's really vulnerable. It's really easy to hurt. It's really easy to injure. And so now when I do that, and then I turn it the wrong way, sleep the wrong way, reach the wrong way, now I have pain real quick. I don't understand why it's so bad. Well, it was so bad because we had developed that posture. We left ourselves in a vulnerable situation. And then once we add a little more stress to it, now it's really barking at us. Now it's all inflamed. Now it's really irritated. So that's usually what we see. That's usually what people present with. Now, what do? We take your x-rays, like I said, we evaluate your posture. And then we have to look to see which misalignments are there. Because if there's a misalignment there, that will prevent you from fully regaining your posture until the misalignment's been corrected. So as a chiropractor, we'll find those misalignments and we'll start doing chiropractic adjustments to those. Now, this is not what you see in TikTok and YouTube videos where they could have a strap and pull on your neck. I don't know what that is. What we do here is we use our hands and we find the exact vertebrae, the specific vertebrae, and we do a chiropractic adjustment based on the way it rotates and presents itself both in your exam findings and your x-ray findings. And that's how we take care of this. Once we do a few adjustments to that area, we'll start to loosen it up, we'll start to restore some of the motion. Once the motion has been restored, once the bones around there are moving and nutrients is going in and out of the joint space again, now we're at a position where we can actually heal again. As long as we're in bad posture, as long as things are in a fixated state, or we call subluxated state, the healing potential is severely limited. So the first thing we want to do is eliminate those subluxations. Now, after we eliminate those subluxations, then we got to talk about the soft tissue, because the soft tissue now, the muscles in there, they've been all inflamed. And when inflamed tissues, what happens to them is the more you rub them, the more you irritate them, the more inflamed they get. And the more inflamed they get, the more sticky they get. And when they're sticky, they start to make knots or adhesions. And those adhesions then are easily irritated, which would create more inflammation, which create more adhesions. So it's this thing that keeps fueling itself. So as a chiropractor, what we'll do is when you're in here, we'll give you some tips on how to stretch that, how to maybe take a tennis ball against the wall, roll around in it to work on those knots. maybe how to lay down with your arms out, straight out across from you in a noodle, like the kids using the swimming pool, those pool noodles. Lay on that, pull yourself back. So we'll start to work on some of that soft tissue. And if you know a good massage therapist, this is a great time to use them. They'll go in there breaking those adhesions better than anything else. Another thing we tell people to get there really bad, if this is going to be like a chronic issue, is one of those massage and those therapy guns. You can go buy one of those at Costco or something, put that between your shoulder blades and have somebody else beat you up with that. So now that we've got the misalignment corrected, and then we get the soft tissue feeling better, now we got to change that posture. And ideally, I would just tell you never sit again, but that's not going to happen. You're going to sit down again. So we're talking about some of the things we have to do to maintain our posture now, the things that cause us to get this way. And a lot of times, it's standing up and squeezing your shoulder blades together, sticking your chest out real big, and counting to 10 is huge. If you did it every half an hour, that would be really, really helpful. Another thing I tell patients to do is find a door frame. Go into that door frame, stick your arms up, lean forward, stick your chest out really big, and count to 10. And then, try your arms in a lower position, middle position, upper position. Try different ones. Try to do that every time you walk through that door frame. That way it becomes more of a habit, and you keep working on the counterbalancing, pulling it back to stretch it back out. And then one of my favorite things to do is go in the corner, put both forearms up and lean forward and stick your chest out big in the corner. That works too. When you do all of these things, one very important thing you want to do is not stick your head out real far. Remember, this came from sitting down, sticking your head out, and rolling your shoulders together. So if we're doing this stretch and we're sticking our head out while we're doing the stretch, it's counterproductive. We want to make sure we keep our chin retracted. I always say chin in and chest out. That's the key. So make sure that you're working on those things. So again, chin in and chest out, count to 10. Ideally, I would have you do something like this for every half an hour sitting. I tell people every half an hour sitting, you only 10 seconds of stretching. So if you're going to spend the day outside hiking or walking around, you don't have to really worry about it. But if you're going to be in that position with your shoulders forward and you roll forward and your head sticking out, the forward head posture, you want to make sure you keep doing that. Now remember, the head weight is the same as a bowling ball. The longer out it is, the more stress it is, the more decay we get. I know a lot of you women will ask me about getting that big hump in your back, and this is where it comes from. It's not osteoporosis or scoliosis, all those other things. The real cause of it is having the head posture being poor, and over time having it weigh more and more and more and more, creating more and more rolling and hunching. So you have to start on that in a younger age. You can't start doing this when when the hump's already there. Now you're playing catch up. Now you're in trouble. So if you have this pain coming down from like behind your ears down to your neck and shoulders, and it's like that gnawing pain, like I said, a knuckle trying to dig its way in from the inside out, come see us. Let's get the adjustments made. Then let's figure out what kind of things, homework you need to do on your own. When I had my shoulder surgery back in 2010, the therapist told me I could quit doing my exercises whenever I want the pain to return. So if you come in here, how long do you have to do those exercises and stretches for? I'll give you the same advice I was given. You can stop doing them whenever you want the pain to return. We're going to keep sitting and doing those things. So it's going to keep being a problem. Another thing that goes on with this, a lot of times, some other symptoms to be aware of. Sometimes the hands can go numb or tingling. Sometimes people report the thumb and the finger, or the middle finger, or the last two fingers. These muscles in your neck, when they're in the wrong position, they get irritated, they get inflamed, and they get inflamed, they get sticky. The nerves that go down will get irritated. So if you're finding hand numbness, this is a common problem with this forward head posture, neck and shoulder issues. Another big problem with this is headaches. People get some really bad headaches when they have this posture, this stuff going on. So if you're experiencing hand numbness or headaches, that's another 2 reasons to come see us about this before it gets any worse. If you revolve in a whiplash, these are really common post-whiplash things. And a lot of times I got a bad whiplash car accident or fell real hard. And they said, how you doing? I said, well, I feel fine today. And then what happens is about 2 or 3 years later, now we're having these problems. These are things that's why whenever you get in a car accident or anything like that, you always want to get checked by a chiropractor right away to make sure you don't have this problem 2 to 3 years later. So this is another thing to be aware of. So with all that being said, I hope that answers some questions about neck and shoulder pains. If you have anything that you'd like to ask us about that, go ahead and ask us. If you come in here and you're not sure you're in the right place, don't worry. We're friends with some of the best shoulder guys in town because of working right here with the Ice Hogs. We know a lot of the orthopedic guys. So if you think it's a shoulder problem, we'll get you to the right shoulder guy. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to leave us a message, send us a text, call us, email us, whatever works nowadays. There's 300 different ways to get a hold of us. Feel free to pick one. And then the next thing that we're going to have a big announcement coming up here soon. It looks like we're going to get into the whole supplement realm. We're going to have a couple of supplements here for sale. We're not going to become a supplement shop. We're going to have the ones that the doctors take every day. So every day I take fish oil, I take a good daily vitamin, And sometimes I take some neurological antioxidants. So I'm going to make those available to you. The exact same ones I take will be available to you for the same price I pay for them. So we're going to have that coming up here real live. I think we're about 99% there. So hopefully that'll be going here real soon. Other than that, if you have any questions or if you have a question you'd like to see and ask the chiropractor, we do this every week. Send us a message, send us a question, and maybe next week you'll be asked the question and ask the chiropractor. Other than that, stay healthy. And if you have any questions, reach out.